Peace, everyone. It is that time. It's that time for another interview with Girlfriends' Guide to Homeschooling with Angela Jordan Perry. And so we're going to wait for our guests to arrive. I hope you all have had a wonderful day so far. It's going great for you. Yes, as the evening is coming for us here in South Carolina, we are getting ready to end our day. Yes, well, for me, it's a date night. I'm excited. So I hope you all are doing well. Come on in and let us know where you're viewing us from. It's going to be a great time with another interview. This is actually a retake. So we got her on here, and prayerfully all would go well for her on her end. Hey, Shatanya. Hey, Terrence, cousin. Hey, brother Brian. Hey, Simona. You all come on in and let us know where you're viewing us from. Girlfriends and guy friends. And I'll tell you what you are seeing before you. So hopefully you've seen the intro and what this is all about and who we have today. Yes, there. Okay, our guest should be here. There she is. Let me know she is on. Alrighty. We're going to add her in here. All right. Very good. There. And we're going to share this to a page I manage. Girlfriend's Guide to Homeschooling. There we are. Yes. Hey, Tameka. Hey there, girl.
Hello.
Yay. So we're all set here. Peace, peace, peace. All right. So I have shared it to Girlfriends Guide to Homeschooling. If you want to go ahead and share it now, that's fine, or you can do it later. That's up to you. Just let me know when you're ready.
Okay, I'm ready.
All righty, girlfriends, guy friends. All right. 3, 2, 1. Girlfriends' Guide to Homeschooling with Angela Jordan Perry. I am turned up for today's interview. Yes.
Yeah.
This is a retake, and if you missed Tameka on episode 40, here you go with another opportunity. Let me get my stuff right. It's kind of scaring me here. Just a second. All right. Make sure we're not moving, but we are moving. I think we're moving. Is that me moving or you moving? Something's moving over here, Tameka.
I'm not touching it, so.
Okay, so you're not moving. It's me. All right, girlfriends. Hold on. We're gonna get straight because just kind of scared me a little bit. All right, hold on one more second again, and I'm going to secure this, I think. Yeah.
Is my lighting better? I tried to move to a different position. I opened up a couple curtains.
It's about the same, but it's not horrible. We can see you. It's fine. So,
okay.
All right, let's start again, and I cut this out. All right, 3, 2, 1. Girlfriends' Guide to Homeschooling with Angela Jordan Perry. I am turned up for another interview with another homeschooling mom. This is Tameka Pettway out of, I always forget, is it Alabama?
Mobile, Alabama.
Yes, I got it right. Mobile, Alabama. So I'm here in South Carolina, the northwest part of the state of South Carolina. But let me let you know what this platform is as we're popping up in your feed. This is Girlfriends' Guide to Homeschooling, and this is a platform that gives voice to those of the African homeschooling diaspora and marginalized homeschoolers, okay? So this platform is where we say #WeHomeschool2, all right? This allows moms or dads to share their journeys, their successes, their nuggets of wisdom, their insights, their encouragement, so that we can edify and build up this community. What's happening is we're building a village. So people from all over the country and all over the world, we're getting connected, and I'm so exciting to see this happening. I am your host here on Girlfriends' Guide to Homeschooling. I'm a homeschool mom, 18 years homeschool mom of 8 children. Wife one, 26 years of marriage. We are celebrating in July. We've been together for 29 years since I was 16 years old, a little baby. And we got married when I was 19. So we've been together since then. We are self-sustaining farmers here in this area. And my purpose-driven life is to make a positive impact on thousands of homeschoolers worldwide. I do that in part right here on Girlfriends' Guide to Homeschooling. I serve here in the state of South Carolina, giving families legal right to homeschool, okay, under my association. And then I have Educating Our Own, where I am working in conjunction with the owner of LOL Company. So we're excited about that. Hello, Melissa. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, so that's just a little bit about me. And but now I'm going to turn it over to our guest, Tameka Pettway. So Tameka, are you ready to make it happen?
I certainly am.
Yes, a second time, right?
Yes. Always a pleasure.
Yes, thank you, Tameka. I appreciate you so much. So let me tell you about Tameka. Tameka, born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, Tameka attended Long Island University, later opened and operated her own daycare in 1997. In 2008, she became a single mom who needed a change. So in 2009, she closed her growing private school daycare and moved to Alabama, where she still resides today. Tameka's tenacity catapulted her forward towards doing what she always loved and enjoyed even in her new hometown. Thus, in 2011, Tameka reopened her daycare as a solopreneur, living life as a single mother. Tameka began homeschooling her son. Her homeschooling journey began since his birth. Let the truth be known, although they took a break for 1 year when he was 4 and he attended a private preschool. Tameka has loved every minute of homeschooling her son. She says, okay, maybe not every minute, laugh out loud. They have way more good memories than bad ones. So Tameka, I have shared just a little bit about you with our homeschool girlfriends here and guy friends. Please tell us more if there's more, but tell us how you actually got started in your homeschooling journey.
Well, as you stated, I started homeschooling my son. I would say, truthfully, I began homeschooling him at birth, essentially. I always was very interested in child development, especially because I had my own daycare. So I know how important it is to get that, foundation. And so while it was nothing official, I always like to joke and say, yeah, my son was homeschooled from birth. So, but essentially he did spend 1 year of school in pre-K when he was 4 years old. And while it was always my desire to homeschool, at that point in time, I began to notice certain behaviors in my son that I wanted to see if going to another school outside of mom would make the difference. And later I found out that, he was diagnosed with high functioning autism. And so that was the reason for some of the behaviors. But in any case, he just spent that 1 year in K4. And I brought him home and began homeschooling him officially at that point.
Okay, and you said, he had this high functioning autism. For those who are not familiar, what does that look like when you are homeschooling? Is there anything specifically different that you have to do?
I would say yes, you definitely have to do something different. Everyone's symptoms and triggers are different. For my son, what that looks like was a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? It was a lot of negative behaviors that you would normally see in a tantruming 2-year-old, essentially, except he was 4. And so it was like, oh my God, terrible twos just kind of keep going. And so there were a lot of behavioral issues. There were a lot of tantrums, things that he was afraid of because he was also diagnosed with SPD, which is sensory processing disorder. But there were certain things that were triggering those behaviors. And so we later found out that he was allergic to some of the foods that he was consuming that caused an adverse reaction in his behavior. So where if you're allergic to shellfish, you might get a rash on your face or your tongue or lips may swell. Well, a child like mine who is allergic to certain dyes and synthetic artificial preservatives and things, well, it manifests itself behaviorally. And so that was definitely something that needed to be brought under subjection. And so that's exactly what I did. So that's what homeschooling was. That's what our first year of homeschooling looked like for me, was getting the behaviors under control more or less than it was academics at that point.
And so you said you started when he was 4 years old, or shortly after? 5 years?
Yes, shortly after. He was 4 when he attended the K-4 program. He turned 5 before the end of that school year. And so I officially began to homeschool him at that point. When he left, he was going to first grade. I'm sorry, he should have been going to kindergarten at that point. But I wanted him to go to first grade. But when they refused, I decided to go ahead and homeschool him myself because he was advanced at that point.
Gotcha. One of the things that you told me, Tameka, and last time we spoke, was that, he is this super bright child. While he may have these titles, he had a very, very high IQ. And so for those of us who don't understand IQs or whatever like that, the last time you told me he had an IQ of 146, is that right?
Yeah.
146. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, what's the normal for people? Where are we at?
Okay. I'm here.
Yeah. Okay. So what is the normal, if you will, IQ of people, so we can have an idea of like the brilliancy of your son?
The normal IQ of a child at the time that he was diagnosed at 4 with an IQ of 146, first of all, that's above the average range for an adult. The average range for an adult IQ is anywhere between 80 and 100. And so he superseded that. And that was a depressed score because they were unable to get an exact score based on his behavior at that point in time.
Gotcha. So you all see this. This is what we would call gifted and talented student. And so, which is amazing. So that's just amazing. So although your first year of homeschooling was just about getting his behavior in order, what
Yes.
does his normal homeschooling look like for this child with the title, but brilliant? What are you doing unique and different to keep him, thriving, I guess you can say, in homeschooling?
Oh my goodness, there was so much to deal with because he was also ADHD, so I had to get those things under control. So one of the things that I did to take care of the ADHD was to put pads in his room. I put karate pads in his room. I put a mat in his room because one of the issues that I was dealing with, even in my own daycare at that time at home, was him hitting and kicking the other children. And so there is, no way to continuously spank a child for issues that they are, it's not under their control. Essentially, he was having self-control issues, and so that was one of the ways that I took care of that. He would go in his room and he'd punch and kick till his heart was content on those little pads, and he'd sweat and he would basically tire himself out. So that was one way to get the energy out. And another way was to introduce puzzles to him. He loved puzzles at that age. He wanted something that could challenge his brain, essentially. So we did that. We did the Fine Gold elimination diet, which was basically completely cleaning out our pantry and any foods that were trigger foods like dyes, synthetic dyes, colors, artificial flavors, enhancers, food enhancers. We got rid of everything that was in our cabinet. We also changed We also changed how we washed our clothing, the different chemicals that we used in the home. I changed everything to natural. And so basically our first year dealt with that. We did use the ABECA curriculum for that first year, which was a box curriculum. And it was a waste of time and money. I won't say a waste of time. It was definitely a waste of money. My son finished the entire curriculum in probably less than 6 months' time.
Wow. And what grade was that when he did that?
He was supposed to be going, he was 5 years old, so he was supposed to be doing a kindergarten curriculum, but he was actually working on a second grade curriculum. He was doing the second grade of Becca, and he finished in no time. And I was scratching my head like, okay, what am I going to do with this kid for the rest of the year? I mean, he's completely done. And so I realized from that point in time that he doesn't fit in the box. And so his curriculum can't come from a box. I had to make his curriculum to fit, one, his learning style, his personality, and his aptitude. And so that's exactly what I began to research: how to teach a gifted child, how to teach a child with some behavioral issues. And I just really thank God that we're at a point now where we are level. I'd never had to medicate my son. And so he was never placed on any mood stabilizers or any type of ADHD medications. And we worked together. I mean, it was a rough road, but we worked together. I worked with him and got him where he needed to be socially. And we're grateful. We're grateful to God for the progress.
Yeah. Beautiful. That's beautiful. Kudos to you for the tenacity. Kudos to you for being his advocate. And kudos to you for just taking the reins and like, no, I'm going to do for my son. And even as you were a single mom and now in a new location, all these things, you made it happen. So kudos to you.
Thank you.
Excellent job. And so now, how many years have it been?
5 years now.
5 years. So
he's 10 years old.
10 years old.
Yes.
Okay. Very good. So take us to this is my favorite question. Take us to your worst day of homeschooling, Tameka. A time where just you were ready to call it, throw in a towel, call it quits, be done with it. I can't do this. I'm over, forget it. Take us to that day that you wanted to quit, but you didn't. And this is why you're this amazing homeschool mom you are today for your son.
Oh my goodness. I think I may have had more than one or two of those days, but I would say the one that really stood out for me was we were on a field trip with another homeschool family, and it was a kids' day program at a park. And so my son at that point in time was still having a lot of social issues. Being able to interact with other children was very difficult for him, and he was very aggressive. And so one of the little boys, we were taking a picture, one of the little boys was standing on a statue, and he pushed him off, and the little boy hit his head. And I thought I was going to lose it, because here he is now, he's gotten to the point where he has injured this child, and I'm going, what am I doing? What am I doing? And so I had the prescription that the doctor had given me, and because he did prescribe medication at that point in time, and I had not filled it because I knew in my mind I was not going to give it to him. But that was the day that I took the medication to the pharmacy to have it filled. Never used it, because I felt so convicted. When I went to bed that night, I cried, and I said, Lord, you've got to step in and help me, because I'm at the point where I felt like, okay, I don't want my son to hurt anyone. So if taking the medication is going to prevent someone else from being hurt or injured, then maybe I'm not doing the right thing by not giving it to him. And so that was a really, really bad day for me. Yeah. That was one of the darkest days.
Yep.
Yeah,
I remember that very well too. Similar situation with my son, my oldest adopted son, who I thought the same thing. I was not doing good by him if I didn't get him on this medicine. He was just like a live wire inside. So even if he wrote his name, he was like shaking, like so much energy was inside of his body. And that's the best way I can describe it. And he was like, attention everywhere. And if he was in school, I'm sure he would have, had a title. And so I put him on the medicine for a month, and I'm like, Lord, what am I doing? I thought I was doing not good for him for not giving it to him, because if he really needed it. But then I also felt bad, like, wow, why can't I should just work through this and figure this out.
Right.
And so we went holistically. That's when we were starting on that journey to more holistic. We had just started farming and just started essential oils, and that was the change. And so he went off of it in a month, and I just treated him with natural methods, again, his food,
Wow.
oils and all that. So I understand that wrestling when you have
Yes.
a child who may need some special something to help them along in life.
Yes.
It's a very much a burden, not a burden, no, just a wrestling unsurety of what's the right thing to do.
Right.
So,
Mm-hmm.
what is your best day, your most memorable day of homeschooling your son so far that maybe brings you to tears, stirs your heart, and just this is why I do what I do, when you think about that day?
Wow. I would say there are many, many, many of those days, thank God. But I guess one of, one of the ones that really stands out for me would be um, the day my son accomplished something that he thought he couldn't do. And I say that, and I know that sounds very simple, but when you have a child who usually gets everything right the first time, who's good at just about everything that they try the first time, he had gotten into the habit of always succeeding on the first try. And so frustration would really ensue if he were not able to get something right the first time because he was a perfectionist. And so to see the growth in him where he was able to maturely handle the disappointment of not getting something right the first time, I was like, thank you, Lord. Like, I mean, it's working. Like what we're doing is because that's what it's all about. It's about learning how to manage your self-control, learning how to, and that was so important to me. That was so, because self-control has been one of those things that we had dealt with that was, oh my gosh, if you have an ADHD child, self-control is like tops. And so for that was one of the most memorable days, was when he was able to take a deep breath and handle the frustration without it overcoming him. And it was, wow, do you see what you did there? That I was so happy. He's like, well, mommy, I didn't get it right. No, you got it perfect. You got it right because you handled it in a perfect way. You handled yourself in a mature way. And I'm so proud of you. But I didn't get it. No, it doesn't matter that you didn't get it right. You handled yourself in a perfect way, in a mature way. And so he was, oh, okay, well, that gets praise too. Yes.
Wow.
That gets praise too.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Well, girlfriends, guy friends, let you know this is Girlfriends' Guide to Homeschooling. Thanks for tuning in. I will ask you to hit the share button on the bottom of your screen. Just hit the share button, share it to your page, because sharing is caring. Let people know about this platform, especially someone who's homeschooling, may have a child that resembles or has the same kind of makeup that Tameka is talking about here, a child that's brilliant, have some challenges in their learning, not even learning, but just in their makeup, but can overcome it, and they just need to hear some ideas. So please share. Tameka is doing a phenomenal job with her son, and beautiful story of his advancement in his homeschooling, even as this gifted and talented student. So be sure to hit the share button and share this out, because you just never know who may be considering homeschooling but won't homeschool because their child has a title or a label or needs some special attention or something like that. Please share, get the word out. So Tameka, as we transition to this part of our show, these are some questions to pick your brain. You can give some quick answers to them, and let's go from there. So what is your mantra or your motto that you use to help you to get through this homeschooling journey?
There are a few, but my favorite two are, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, and I am more than a conqueror through him that loves me.
Beautiful.
Because this is one of those journeys that we need the word. Can't do it without God. Can't.
Amen. Yeah.
Can't do it without him.
Do you plan to homeschool him all the way through high school? I mean, to the end, whenever that end is.
Yes, that is the plan. But the ultimate plan is to follow God's plan. Gotcha. Whatever his will is, For both of our lives, that is exactly what we want.
Beautiful, beautiful. Is there a specific curriculum or resource or book that you have used along this journey that you say, if anyone has a child like this, they should read this book, or if they're going to homeschool, this is the resource they must have? Anything you can recommend, Tameka?
The Holy Bible. I know that that's probably not what you were looking for, but I'm telling you, the word has got me through, because there has not been a book written. And I've used lots of resources, so I'm not saying that there aren't any, but none really stand out as much as the Word of God stands out in terms of being something that I would definitely use, because there's so much out there. You can Google anything that you want nowadays. Yeah. That would fit what you really need. And so, but what has really been important to me has been the Word of God in homeschooling, because there's a word for every point in your life.
Yes, 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 yes. So what is the best piece of advice that you've received since you've been on this journey, Tameka?
Don't sweat the small stuff.
Is there a favorite app or online resource or something on TV or anything that you can suggest as a good go-to?
Yes, we really enjoy CTC Math. We really enjoy Time for Learning. Those are the specific online curriculums that have really fit for Xavier, for a child like him. No, none of the box curriculums can touch him. He really does not like workbooks, for real. And so if your child is not really into workbooks and they need a curriculum that can adjust to levels, like the Time for Learning, I love that it adjusts to the different levels based on the different subjects. So in language arts, he can certainly do a 6th or 7th grade curriculum. And let's say in science, if he's not really good in science, then he can do a 4th grade in science without paying any extra money. He can just click the 4th grade and do the 4th grade curriculum. And so I really love the versatility of that online resource. So it's been great for us.
Is Time for Learning, that's, is it like a paid thing, or how does that work?
It's a monthly fee of $20 per month. And it gives the testing, it gives the, it chronologizes his scores, his grades, his quizzes, everything. It chronicles. And it keeps a record of just about everything. So I don't have to do anything when it comes to that. All I have to do is go on there, click report, and then I can pull up the amount of time that he spent on a specific topic, the grade, how much was finished, if he exited before the time. Oh, it tells everything. It's like an I Spy. So mom doesn't have to be over the shoulder. I don't have to, and if he needs help with something, I definitely give supplemental work for certain things that he might be struggling with. But other than that, it has everything that he needs.
And is that for all subjects?
Yes, there's 5 different subjects: language arts, science, history, math, and what's the other one? Can't think of the other one. The other basic one, for whatever reason it's.
Okay, grammar, English, reading, math, science, studies.
Oh. Yes, social studies is the other one.
Okay, very good. And CTC Math, is that online or is that an app?
Yes, CTC Math is basically the same way, where you can toggle between the levels of the different topics. So for instance, if he's great at math, if he's great at algebra, he can do high school algebra. But for whatever reason, if they're not good at decimals, then maybe he needs to do 8th grade decimals or 5th grade decimals. Whatever the case may be, he can toggle between both of those and get all of the videos in the lessons. And both of them use videos in order to teach. The Time for Learning uses really cartoonish, great interactive videos and games in order to introduce a subject. And it also asks the child, did you understand, or do we need to do it again? And so if they click that they need to do it again, it would do it again, but with a different video using the same resource or using the same concept. So that is what I really loved about it.
Good deal. Wow. Okay. I've never looked at them very closely. I've heard of them. So girlfriends, check out the CTC Math and Time for Learning. I do definitely remember you said box curriculum. Just don't even waste your time with that. I have that in my notes. So don't even do it. All right. Well, Tameka, we're on our last question, the $1,000,000 question. Are you ready?
Yes.
Yes. All right. Well, Tameka, if you had to start all over again, back to day one of your homeschooling, but you have your current wisdom, knowledge, skills, insights, conviction, know-hows, what would be the first thing you'd be sure to include in your homeschooling journey, or be sure to take away and eliminate and not even do?
I would definitely never have bought the box curriculum. I would have saved $250. And I guess the other thing would be, I would have started the Time for Learning sooner. It has been, and I also would have not tried to do school at home. I think that one was a really big learning curve for me. Not trying to replicate what happens at school at home, and just going with the flow more, and making sure that homeschool is home education, or education at home with emphasis on the word home.
Gotcha. And if you would dive in just a quick moment and just explain, what does going with the flow, what does that look like? And, just real short, description.
Okay, going with the flow definitely means child-led, basically, is child-centered. Whatever it is that they are feeling they want to do, no matter what is on your schedule, if it's productive, go with the flow.
Gotcha. All right, girlfriends, you are the average of the 5 people you hang out with, and this past hour you've been hanging out with Tameka Pettway out of Mobile, Alabama. So listen, keep up the momentum and continue to connect with positive influences that's going to drive you forward in your homeschooling journey. And you be that positive resource that others can draw from as well. Okay. So keep up the momentum. Find yourself a sister circle. That's my new word. Find yourself a sister circle. Thanks, Melissa. Get connected with other sisters who's on the same journey. If you can't find it, we're building a village. Get connected to Girlfriend's Guide to Homeschooling and Educating Our Own, and you're going to find all the resources right there. So, Tameka, I want to say thank you again, my dear sister, for doing this interview and giving up your
My pleasure.
and getting away from your work with your little ones and all that you have going on. So thank you so much. Girlfriend's Guide to Homeschooling with Angela Jordan Perry appreciates you and am grateful to you for all that you're doing and having a voice in this community. So thank you very
much. Thank you. My pleasure.
But girlfriends, listen, this is the ending. I always say, remember, to teach a child is to touch a life. And as we homeschool, we not only touch a life, we shape the future through our efforts of homeschooling. So keep making a positive impact day after day and year after year. It's going to pay off. What your children need more than anything is, like Tameka, be an advocate for your child. Educate your own. No one's going to give them the best opportunity than we will. And if you think you can't do it, don't believe it, because you can.
Right.
All these stories Tameka shared, all the people that's connected in this village, all the interviews that you've heard, glean from them and run with it and make it happen if that's your desire to educate your own children. Okay. So again, be sure to share. If you just happen to fall upon this, go over to Girlfriend's Guide to Homeschooling with Angela Jordan Perry and like and follow me there. YouTubers, thank you for joining me there. I appreciate you all. Continue to subscribe and share this platform. You can find us on Tumblr at GG2Homeschooling with Angela Jordan Perry .tumblr, TUMBLR.com. Instagram, the same thing. We're on all social media platforms. So I would love to connect with you. Soon to be traveling, so I'm coming to your state. So keep an eye out. Yay! All right, girlfriend. So it's your turn. Go forward and make it happen. I look forward to seeing you the next time on Girlfriend's Guide to Homeschooling with Angela Jordan Perry. All the best to you all. Peace, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
I'll be in touch. Thank you.